long time since I filmed my last video, so now I just want to say welcome back to the Universe of Alex Oprea. Right now, my dad encouraged me to make a surprise for you all. So for today, I'm going to talk about the Apollo 11 moon landing. Right? I'm using this Lego Saturn V rocket as a prop. It is actually contained of nearly 2,000 Lego bricks. And it's with the real Saturn V, it's taller than the Statue of Liberty, and it weighs as much as 400 elephants. So the real thing needed 5 engines to lift it off the ground. The Saturn V rocket has also contained the command module up here, and the lunar module tucked inside these cones until the rocket gets to space. And so now we are going to replay the launch, and I'll do the sound effects. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. We're 23 minutes past the hour. The Apollo 11 going to the moon. And that's the liftoff for you. So, like 6 minutes after launch, the first stage managed to detach from the second stage because it was out of fuel. But not just the first stage detached, the escape pod went off, and the command pod can now be visible. And the third stage, it helped get the payload into space and push it to the moon. When that was out of fuel, it was the end of the road for the nose cones. So they got pushed away. And then is the Columbia/Eagle docking. So there was the Columbia. It got tilted to face the Eagle, and then they docked. And then after the docking, it was time to say goodbye to the third stage. With a push from the RCS from Columbia, they managed to get the Eagle away from the third stage. It was a long time since they got to the moon. And the moon is approximately, it's actually really far away, like 25,000 miles away from Earth. You can fit 30 Earths in that distance. And you can also fit all the planets in that distance. First you put Mercury, Venus, and Mars. And then you get giant Jupiter, followed by Saturn, and then Uranus and Neptune. And you can even put little Pluto in there for good measure. I mean, it's so mind-boggling that all the planets actually fit there. So anyway, now they're in the orbit intersection. I should pretend. And then they ignite they detach the Eagle with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin inside right after they orbit around the moon 2 times. On the far side of the moon, connection with Tranquility Base was lost. And it was actually a hard time of them to actually get to the surface. So from their usual landing spot, they had to go 4 miles away from the original landing spot, and they almost landed in a crater. And then Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. They set touchdown in the Sea of Tranquility. And then when they off-boarded for the first time ever, the moon's population went from 0 to 2. And then we know Neil Armstrong's famous line, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." And these were the words that Buzz Aldrin said when he got off. Beautiful, beautiful view. I mean, can't you just be amazed? Neil Armstrong. Yes, it is kind of pretty. Not as usual words as Neil Armstrong's, but they're still pretty nice. Do you agree? Let me know in the comment section below. So now we are going to get to the rest. The moon, they walked on the moon. Neil Armstrong was the first person to walk on the moon, as everyone knows. Buzz Aldrin hopped down the ladder next. And then they collected moon rocks. Neil Armstrong was actually holding his camera for most of the mission, and they took pictures of Buzz Aldrin. Even one with Neil Armstrong's reflection even one with his reflection in Buzz Aldrin's visor. And now it's the ascent. So the descent stage didn't go with the ascent. The ascent stage was pushed up. The descent stage stayed put. And while they were going, the flag knocked over. And then the Eagle docks with Columbia. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin board. Then it detaches and crashes down on the surface of the moon and creates a crater. And then they aim for Earth the same way they aimed for the moon. And then they fire the rockets and start heading toward the moon. I mean Earth. Then, 225 minutes after launch, it's time to say goodbye to the service module. With a roar and a hiss, the two separate. And then, it's time for the re-entry splashdown landing. And first is the re-entry. The astronauts are fine, but the bottom of the command module was actually experiencing temperatures as hot as the surface of the sun. That's how hot it was. And then soon, 6 meters above the surface, it's the burning. Just as soon as it started, it stopped. The parachute opened. Actually, there were 3 parachutes, but it went slowly down and touched down in the Atlantic Ocean. There's also an orange ring surrounding the capsule when it landed, and there was also some balloons that kept it upright. But I don't know where those pieces have gone. And Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins were actually quarantined for 21 days because they thought they had some kind of moon disease. Dear friends, I'm sure everyone knows that the launch of the Saturn V was on July 20th, 1969. If only I had a time machine so I could go back in time and see the launch for myself. It matters. But the most awesome part is the 2 fun facts that I want to tell you. One is that they left a mirror on the surface of the moon. So when a laser came to measure the distance of the moon and the Earth, the laser would bounce off the mirror, and they could tell how far the moon was depending on how long the laser beam takes to get back to Earth. And then we have the last fun fact. Why? When they got back up to the command pod, they celebrated the landing by drinking some wine on the way back to Earth. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, they wanted to name their craft Snow Cone. NASA shut down the sillies and told them to get serious. So they actually switched it to Columbia and Eagle. home. This is us. On it, everyone you ever know of. Every tree and plant, every airplane, boat, car, truck, train, fighter jet, I don't know. Every creator and destroyer, every husband and wife, every hopeful child, every space lover, and every TV channel, including mine, lived there, on this blue-red dot with the moon orbiting around it. The lunar landing, it actually changed the Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins' life forever. Michael Collins also went on Gemini 10 before he went on Apollo 11, and he was the ground control for Apollo 8, one of the members. And the words that he would say to Apollo 8, if he got that chance again, he would say, "Apollo 8, the moon is yours. Go." Michael Collins was the loneliest person on the Apollo 11 trip because he was in the command module orbiting the moon, while Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, however, were down on the moon's surface making history. Michael Collins had him and only him to keep himself company. The weirdest fact ever, it's actually about Buzz Aldrin's felt tip pen. It saved their lives. On the ascent, the liftoff switch was broken, and Buzz Aldrin's felt tip pen managed to fix the lunar module's liftoff switch. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Universe of Alex Oprea, where we got to talk about the Apollo 11, and boy, I just love the graphics. So, dear friends, just to let you know, you should also talk to me about what my topic in the next video I make should be about next. Just let me know in the comment section below of what you want me to talk about, and maybe my next video will be about that topic you sent me. So I wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and thank you for watching my 4th episode.